Nathan Osgood is a highly accomplished actor, known for his versatile performances across film, television, theater, and voice. Born into a military family and having moved around a lot as a kid, Osgood's upbringing exposed him to various American and British dialects, which he skillfully incorporates into all of his roles, and sometimes just into his daily life. You never know which Nathan you're going to get. On stage, Osgood has performed in some rather prestigious venues, including on Broadway and the West End, with notable productions like All the President's Men. And he's done seasons at the National Theatre and the Royal Court. His voice acting credits are equally impressive, having lent his voice to popular video games such as Lego Star Wars, where he played old Luke Skywalker, and Cyberpunk 2077, where he voiced the Fixer. Osgood's audiobook narrations, including the collected works of Mark Twain and Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations and Typhoid Mary, plus his narration of Bill Bryson's The Road to Little Dribbling, have earned him critical acclaim and an Earphones award. He has worked with the likes of Meryl Streep, Alec Baldwin, Joan Rivers, Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Sigourney Weaver, Cillian Murphy. You know what? The list is too long. He's just done a ton of work over the years. Nathan does it all. Video games, audiobooks, radio plays, stage, TV, film, podcast series. I'm out of breath. And he's also a crazy talented jazz musician who plays a guitar like friggin' Django Reinhardt. Well, you know, I'm not quite, but I mean pretty close. Oh, and he teaches and directs and mentors actors as well. Nathan Osgood is the total actor. What more can I say except that he's also a good friend of mine for many years and a man who I personally respect, admire, and appreciate. And like the Battery Bunny, he just keeps going and going and going.
Slow down, Vatcha, hurry.
So listen up, because if you want to know about the acting trade, you won't find a much better source than Nathan Osgood. Hey, all right, we are back.
Hello, everyone.
We are back in action.
We certainly are.
This is the Offstage Acting Podcast.
Yeah, it is. Woo! Bring it.
I love the enthusiasm.
Thank you so much.
Your Everything Acting Podcast with Todd Kramer, Jay Reum. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hello. Wow. Wait, I have a question. Have we gotten to we're getting close to 50, right? Or I don't know how many.
Yeah.
I was getting deja vu. We were just doing this and I was like, wow, I think I've done this literally
almost 50
times now. Oh, I think almost 50 times now.
This one, if it comes out in order, which sometimes they don't, but this one I think will, this is going to be 46.
Wow.
In total.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. I'm kind of looking forward to that number 50 too. I don't know why, some kind of big landmark, but
it is. It's a nice number. It's a nice number, 50.
Nice
Great
big
number.
Fat number you can feel proud of. 50.
Yeah.
The goal, by the way, is 100.
Great.
And then we can see what happens after that. But that's why I always number it 0. Like I said, 001.
You manifested the triple digits from the very beginning. You've manifested triple dig.
I prefabricated that.
Yeah. Manifestation, prefabrication. That's what it is. It's
Yep.
a secret.
Yeah, that's the secret. And I have got the secret. And that's how I know that we're going to get to 100. Because I got to get that magic.
You have to get the magic 100. And you will.
099 to triple digits. How you doing, Jay?
Oh my gosh, we asked each other at the same time.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Okay. I'll answer first. I'm doing good, doing fine. Got back from Scotland at a castle.
Oh my God, tell me about it real quick.
Yeah, it was a good.
This was a crazy, crazy schedule, friend, right?
Crazy schedule. Shout out to Taryn Gray. Happy birthday. She literally 20 people catered a dinner, archery games, like a big Highland games. We did capture the flag, so many activities, whiskey tasting, Scottish whiskey tasting,
Scotch.
It was yes. Well, there I guess they don't call it Scotch. I guess that's like a global branding thing. He never used the term Scotch. That was part of the talk. Right. I learned a lot. Yeah. So quite the weekend. The stars, hot tub. Under the
Wow.
Stars. I mean, yeah. I mean,
20, and the people were great. A lot of cool people.
the people were great. She attracts good people. Like there
Yeah.
was no bad vibes. Everyone got along. I met a lot of cool people. So it's just a good time,
And
you
where'd you
know?
stay? At some castle or something?
Lickley Head Castle in
Wow.
Aberdeen, near
It's
Aberdeen.
way up there.
It is up there. So it's cold. It was cold.
It was cold.
It's cold.
That sounds like a great time. So it was just a birthday weekend thing.
It was a birthday weekend. It's funny because they mostly do weddings. So the
Yeah.
taxi driver, the whiskey tasting guy, the caterers, they all thought it was a
Who's
wedding.
getting married? Right.
So it was kind of a running joke.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's great.
That sounds fun. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you had a great time.
How are you?
I wish I knew fun people like that invited me to do
Well,
cool things.
you're the fun person that you do the inviting. You're the A. You are the Taryn Gray.
I'm the alpha.
You're the one. You're the one that does the thing.
I need a Taryn Gray in my life
50
to invite
episodes
me.
in,
Yeah. Oh well.
You've invited all these people for a podcast. You know, the connection. Actually, that is a connection. That just as Taryn Gray invited all these people to the castle, you've invited almost 50 people now to be part of a podcast.
To be part of this podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of nice lead into the guest, I guess, at this point.
Oh, you're welcome.
Perfect. I was going to tell you how I'm doing, but I'm not even sure myself how I'm doing. Pretty well, though. Pretty well. I will just update quickly rehearsals for the little play I'm doing.
Yes.
The local. It's fun. It's funny. It's coming along. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a cute little show. You know.
Great.
So that's good times. Yeah, it's kind of fun, and it's like all the locals are gonna come out and check it out. So that'll be interesting.
And all the listeners listening in, go up to what's the name of the theater again?
No, we don't need to go with all that.
Todd's like, no.
But it's just fun to get into the local Amdram club, you know, and get to know.
Keep your creative juices flowing.
And it's and it's a good
job.
little, it's a funny piece. So there's that. That's keeping me busy in the evenings sometimes.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah. And I don't know. I didn't think of any other announcements to make, so we'll just jump right in. Speaking of bringing people together and great guests, we have a really great guest.
Love it. Always do.
We have a friend of mine and a colleague of ours.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you met me at a ADR session?
Yes.
And we hit it off? Well, I met this young man at an ADR session.
He's 90, isn't he?
And we hit it off. Well, he was young at the time when I met him 15 years ago. He was like my age. And now he's an old man. But and I was like your age, I think.
Wow.
Essentially.
Wow, full circle. Yeah.
Kind of.
Full circle.
The
connections.
I was maybe a little older than you. But yeah. I think he was there at my kind of first ADR session. Again, it was one of those, my agent at the time kind of calls me and goes, "Hey, Todd, you could do ADR, right?" My voice agent. "You do ADR, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Duh. Who doesn't do ADR? It's easy." And he goes, "All right, you're booked." And it was good money. And I was like, "Sweet." And I show up and I go, "I don't even know what ADR is."
What?
Does he couldn't look it up. There wasn't any way to look it up online or anybody who could go, "Oh, that's where you got to do this." So I literally went into that room and didn't know what we were doing.
Great.
But I honed in on Nathan Osgood right away, and he was really cool. He helped me out, kind of figure out that first foray into it. And we had fun. Nathan's an American.
Okay.
Originally, but kind of British also.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that.
Great.
But kind of raised in America. And an actor, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Super talent. And really a big, like, you know how some guys are like big theater heads?
Yeah.
You know, and just like get into the whole... Like,
theater scene.
Yeah, and they know their onions when it comes to that.
They know their onions?
That's an old-timey expression.
They know their onions.
They know their onions, and I'm using old-timey expressions.
I'll pretend to know what that means.
Means they know their business. It's an old-timey expression. I just said.
Oh, yeah. I thought onions are about layers. I learned that from Shrek. Have you seen Shrek? Onions are about layers.
That's where you learned it? From Shrek?
Yeah. That's why ogres are like onions, because onions have layers.
You're such a child, I swear.
Okay.
You and my 8-year-old both know what onions are from Shrek.
Yeah.
Actually, my 8-year-old probably doesn't. You were probably 8 when Shrek came out, weren't you?
The original, the first one, maybe.
Yeah.
Shrek 2 is the best one though.
I think I was like 30.
At age thing.
Can we talk about Nathan?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Onions
I'm
and
ready.
ogres. Here, let me show you his show reel.
Fantastic.
It's awesome.
Supone and succotash. The great Sherlock Holmes.
You curl your R's, indicating a native from a less educated United State, namely Missouri. You are the writer of popular fiction Mark Twain.
But can you deduce what we've been up to? I'll give you a clue. It rhymes with Huck Finn. Sometimes I think the defense bring all their problems on themselves so they can complain about them and keep their man alive. If he had cooperated...
He'd be dead!
He says his heartbeat...
I was in the show with Nathan. Oh, no. Why is it freezing?
Nor.
Oh, no. I should have...
Oh, I was entertained.
I know. Oh, you joking. All right, we had a technical glitch, folks. Hold on. Maybe we can get this to work again. Yeah, I did that show as well with Nathan. Where's the show reel? Oh, no.
You go on, there it is.
Supone and succotash.
Got that.
Can you deduce... Complain about him and keep their man alive. If he had cooperated...
He'd be dead!
He says his heartbeat is 40 and falling.
He is breathing.
We don't think his breathing is actual breathing. It's a kind of snorting. I think we'd all prefer to be guided by God than a sexually incontinent Democrat and his wife.
God says thou shalt not kill.
You believe in the death penalty?
He did a great job.
No, I don't.
Well, what if it were a member of your own family who were murdered? Are you aware St. Mary's asked me to write a brief for them?
No, I didn't know that, but please.
The hospital keeps saying that drugs need to be given immediately. What they neglect to say is that immediate administration of these drugs can interfere with diagnosis because the side effects can be mistaken for psychotic symptoms.
Some really big names.
I know you lost another in England. They think that was your first mistake. And here we are, the truth hidden away. You failed.
Bigger names than me. Yeah.
What terrifies me is, instead of trying to learn from it, you pretend like it didn't happen.
Failure is a state of mind.
Don't feed me that. Look at her. You got her buried alive.
This is exactly what I came here to get away from.
What's your name?
What?
What's your name?
Paul.
So Paul. You want to catch a turkey? You gotta show it the grain.
You want to catch a turkey, honey? You just blow its head off.
Dr. Matheson! Thanks for coming. You can't imagine how pleased I am to see you.
This is Dr. Matheson, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please, I guess the last few days have been a bit difficult.
Don't worry. I should have worn a lab coat. That's Dr. Buckley.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, that's Cillian Murphy.
Stop it, tell him to stop!
It hurts!
Stop it, I'm telling you! I demand you stop!
It hurts! I can't
I'm telling you, I demand you stop!
It hurts! I
I demand you stop!
I demand you stop!
Who was that?
Mr. Donnelly,
And he's...
the owner. I can't be seen.
And I didn't see you. I won't say a word, I promise.
Call your wife.
Why?
Tell her you love her.
Why?
She'll need to know that.
Before I kill you.
You're wanting me to say goodbye.
Don't pass it up. It's a chance I never got.
I remember this movie.
He's done a ton.
Wow.
Nathan Osgood.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy.
Great.
It's awesome. What do you see? What do you think when you see that stuff?
I think I'm old.
Old and you forgot bald. Don't forget bald.
I got a hat though, so you covered.
But not in the movies. Not in every
really.
movie.
It's interesting, isn't it, looking back on stuff you've done?
Yeah. It's always funny because the actor sort of has the memory of like almost like how exhausting this shoot was and how awful the people were sometimes to work with, or how wonderful it was, or how great that was. Very rarely you're like, oh yeah, the performance, oh the actual thing, it looks cool, or my performance is great. Rather, we look at it and go, oh, that was a tough day. Oh yeah, 16 hours, and I was in the trailer. The whole thing.
I didn't want to leave the trailer. It was good.
Yeah, that's the classic for those that don't know how it really rolls for actors. It's the hurry up and wait, right?
Oh, I like the thing where you get there at 4 o'clock in the morning, then they use you at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's
good,
the one.
Yeah.
We need you in makeup. Okay, Nathan, we're gonna have you get over. We need you in the costume, and you get your full costume on. You're like, okay, and you're sitting there like, yeah, and it's 6 o'clock. Do you want coffee or anything? And you go, yeah, I'll take a coffee.
Again, more.
And then by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they go, I think they're not going to use you yet, but we can get lunch now if you want. You go,
yeah,
great. And then they come to you, at 7 o'clock, and they go, so we didn't get to your stuff today. We're going to need you back tomorrow. You go, sure.
Yeah, cool. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And a warning for every other actor that's going to get up and do it. Yeah.
Bring a book.
How long have you been acting, sir?
A fairly long time now. I didn't start in acting. I had other jobs, so I started out. Yeah, I was a musician, jazz musician, and then went into. I became a film editor for the BBC for a few years.
Okay.
And then I went back to jazz.
Where did you play?
Just anywhere.
Still plays.
No, like what instrument?
Oh, guitar player.
Oh, guitar. Okay.
Yeah. But I used to work on a QE2, stuff like that, and pubs and clubs and,
playing.
Estates here. Playing, yeah.
Yeah, you still you do a little, is it a trio, quartet?
Yeah, I still have a trio. I think it was because I always liked, Woody Allen used to do once a week in New York, and Michael's, and I always wanted to try and do that in London. So we did about 15 years in Covent Garden.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're still playing now. In fact, I've got a rehearsal right after we finish this interview.
Right.
And we're playing in Soho now, once every 2 weeks.
Are you still
That's
playing
Queen's Head, if anybody wants to come down.
at the King's Head, right?
Queen's Head, yeah.
The Queen's Head.
King's Head, Queen's Head.
Whose head? What
cares?
head?
As long as you love your mother.
As long as there's a head, I don't care. Somebody's head. He's quite proficient, by the way, Jay. He's very, very talented.
I believe it.
So give me some background. I want to get, I know a lot, but I don't know. I was thinking about today. I'm like, I don't know quite all the details. You started in America.
No, I didn't. I started over here.
You're born here.
I was born. Oh, sorry, you're going that far back. Yeah, I was
let's
born
go down
here. Yeah, I was born here, then adopted by an American GI.
Right.
Who was stationed here. So I got an English mother from the East End, and my father is from Vermont, and he's Mohawk tribe. So he's I got a native father and a Cockney mom.
The classic combination.
Yeah, this is normal, isn't it?
Interesting. What does GI mean, by the way? General?
I think it is. Yeah, government issue actually is what it means.
Government issue.
Military man, it means. It's an old term.
It's a military guy.
Military.
Yeah, in those days, I mean, there were bases all over the place. So every 3 years we'd live in England, and every 3 years we'd live in America. So, but when we were in England, we were in Suffolk, and we would live on these bases or off the bases because my mother, being English, didn't like being
Americanized
on the base because she didn't like Americans. So that's why she married one.
Right.
And so we were, and so she just we would live off base. So I'd have my English friends, and I'd have my American friends. So. You'd learn how to play cricket with your local mates and football and that, and then you'd switch to playing baseball and American football on the base, So it was a mixture of both, completely Anglo-American. So.
Yeah.
Learning sports like learning accents. Just switch between them.
Yeah. Well, the accent thing. Well, I grew up. I had a London accent till I was probably about 12.
Oh.
But then in the States, you can't sustain it on the playground because you keep getting beaten up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And called weird.
Yes. Yeah. And it's, you're dressing like an English boy in America. It's not right.
With your little like high socks and like I don't even know what that'd be. Your the
No, they
hat
had
that
those
you're wearing now.
sandals. They had those funny little sandals, man. I have pictures of me dressed like, you know.
The sandals.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's something
sports
an
coat.
American kid is going to pick up. Yeah, that's
So basically, your American upbringing is Vermont.
No, we were military, so every 3 years we would move.
Somewhere
It's
else.
just that my father's from Vermont.
Right, I see.
But we moved every 3 years between America and Britain.
Right.
So we would just ping pong back and forth. So I grew up more like Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, that sort of place. But we would go to Vermont for our holidays and England, mostly in Suffolk and a little bit in London. So, but I'm completely Anglo-American, you know.
Yeah.
Mixture of both sides, you know.
That was entirely until you were 18? When
I was
road?
20, I came. No, when I was 15, I left. I was in America, and I left home and thought it would be a really good idea to hitchhike around America.
Yes.
When you're
So
15.
I did. Yeah, I did it for 2 years. I just hitchhiked around America for 2 years. So
I
there's
remember
quite
there was
lot
a
of
guy
stories,
that hooked up with you, some kind of hobo that looked after you for.
Yeah, it was a few different people like that. Usually,
Wow.
I had an ex-Marine that took care of me for a while and stuff like that. And,
Right.
but you'd sort of sleep underneath the bridges. Like they
Yeah.
had these little gaps by the side of the road, and we used to huddle in there with various other people that were on the road.
Right.
Because obviously it's post hobo train time.
Yeah, you weren't
as
riding
people-
train rails.
And in those days, you still could hitchhike. You know, people would
Yeah.
hitchhike everywhere. You know, you
Yeah.
weren't
People
supposed to
would pick you
hitchhike on the interstate, but you could hitchhike on the ramp to go onto the
Right.
interstate.
Hmm.
Then people would pick you up, and if you got in a truck, the semi trailers and stuff, they would just you'd fall asleep.
You
You know,
could
you
crash.
they picked you up so you'd keep them awake, and then you'd fall asleep, and then you'd wake up a state over or something, end up in Kansas or something. You know, it's great though.
What was
It
kind
is
of what
great.
was the kind of vibe with that? Was there a reason at 15 that you were thinking, I just want to get out of this, or like what was the thinking?
Well, we had got stationed to Oklahoma, and it was a little bit very right wing. They were because we all grew up. When we were kids, we were military kids. So when we grew up, we were very multinational. So we were all like, you know, having fun with each other and knocking around town together and all that sort of thing, wherever we were in the world, you know. And when I was in Oklahoma, and even some of the guys that were there, or some of the girls that were there, they were, you know, they're black or Korean or whatever, normal, you know.
Right.
And there
Military
was like
brats.
KKK stuff outside the high school and all this, you know. It was really full on, you know. So I thought, I'm getting out of here. I couldn't take it anymore.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
That's my excuse. I mean, it's probably something else
It
as
must
well.
have been
but
something
anyway.
else, and I think
I just felt like going anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not quite much of a life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting life. It's not the typical childhood for sure. Did you feel safe in that childhood?
I remember I did write a piece about it, and we made it into a film called Ditch Digger, and we did it as a play here in London at the Arcola Theatre some years ago, but sort of based on that life, where I based the whole thing on a young boy, as in my age then, meeting himself as an old man
Wow.
in the middle of the desert.
Oh, I saw that. I saw snippets of that
Yeah,
film. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. So, I mean, I've tried to have a whack at it, you know.
Yeah. That was a good piece. I don't. It was
Thanks,
short
thanks.
film, wasn't it? 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
it
I've
should have been
seen
a
it.
lot longer, but I think we were sick of standing in the desert. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. No, it was a good
Oh, we
piece.
shot it
though.
in the Mojave. It was good. Yeah.
Wow.
But that was
British,
sort of a way
British
of
cameraman and stuff.
yeah. But that was kind of a way of coming to terms with this unique lifestyle, this childhood that you had.
Yeah, exactly. But all this stuff, I have to say, you know, later on when I went into acting, you just used everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
great. It was a really good training to be an actor, really.
Yeah, you have access now to all
And there's a
sorts
lot of military kids I've noticed over the
Hmm.
years that are actors.
Huh.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I have
Yeah.
too. Like I've listened to podcasts with other actors and interviews and things, and there are quite a few that
I think we've had quite a few military kids.
moved
actually.
around and
It wouldn't surprise me.
yeah.
I think it's that thing as well as like, because you have to move every 3 years, you have to ingratiate yourself in another country,
Right.
or
You got to adapt.
you got to adapt immediately, like you on a playground or
Yeah.
whatever, you know, with kids.
Yeah.
And so you're very good at communicating with your fellow human being and stuff. So you pick
Changing your
that up.
personality to match whatever everybody else is
Yes.
doing and
And also
thinking.
because you're sympathetic, and also because you don't want to be, sometimes you just don't want to be known as being that person. You take on a different voice. Or when I was hitchhiking around, sometimes I'd get in a car and I'd just suddenly become a different character.
Right. Right.
So
Because
I
you could.
go like that, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm from London, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just switch into something else.
Yeah.
Or to like this, who cares? You know, whatever it is.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
How old were you when you found out you were adopted?
I was told right from very early on.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were good about that, huh?
Huh?
They were good about that, or that was kind of a
Yeah, no, they were very good about that.
like a
It was great.
philosophy.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I'm very drawn to, I've met a lot of guys over the years now that were adopted as well, and women as well, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, hardly any of us have had a kid because you don't have kids when you're adopted. It's interesting.
I've noticed that as well.
You
Yeah.
raise other people's kids. But,
Yeah, you did
yeah,
raise
yeah,
your.
yeah.
You have kind of a stepdaughter, don't you?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
I was wondering, like, because did you say at some point? Did you tell me you met your biological mother?
Yeah, when I was 20, I came over to, I actually got a letter from my biological father. So I came over and met him, and that didn't work out too well. So, but then I got in touch with my biological mother and stayed with her.
Right.
And that's how I ended up at the BBC because I didn't have any money. So I started busking in the tube.
Right.
And then I was at a party at her house, and she said, this guy works at the BBC. And so I talked to him, and he said, you want to make tea for a living or something? I said, I just need to make some money to get back to America. I was living in Boston at that time. I want to get back to Boston.
Right.
And he said, well, yeah, I don't know if you'll just be cleaning the floor or something. And I made a very good cup of tea because my mother's from the East End, you know, rip open none of this,
6 lumps in
tea bags bollocks, you
Right.
know what I mean? I mean, proper strainer, cup of tea. And the guy that was running said, oh, that's lovely, that is. And then he said, you want a job? Have you ever cut film? And I said, no, man, I've never cut film. He said, I'll teach you. So he trained me. So I ended up like cutting like primetime television. I was Panorama and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and no training apart from what this guy showed me. You know, it's
Right.
fucking bizarre, basically.
What happened with your natural father when you met him? You said you got a letter from him, but it didn't pan out.
It didn't pan out. No, I mean that stuff's, but yeah, he was not a very nice person. He was an alcoholic.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was an alcoholic.
But why did he write you a letter?
I don't know. I guess he wanted to meet up with me and get drunk with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Probably something like that, mate.
It's very bizarre that you kind of got one foothold in each part of two
Yeah, it's a mixture
continents.
of them all, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, you know, here in Britain, I probably played 2 British characters the entire for my whole career.
Yeah.
But when I was in LA, I went over to live in LA for a while. When I was working in LA, I got nothing but British parts. I never got an American part, not one.
Right.
Yeah. And even theater, when I was doing theater there, and I was directing theater there, they just said they just wanted me to direct British plays. I couldn't direct an American play.
That's
But
always
here-
the way it is. It's always the way
it's
it is.
funny. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. You come here and not interested.
Yeah.
In seeing your.
But I love it
version.
here. I mean, the scene is fantastic. I mean, it's great work here, you know.
When did you
And
finally
we
kinda
move
settle?
around a lot more, you know.
Yeah. Well, you got access to Europe, and I know you like going over to Ireland and all this.
I got Ireland a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
France.
When did you settle here?
1843.
Mm-hmm. It was a good year.
Yeah.
Good
Good
year to
year.
settle.
Napoleonic
get here.
Wars were already
Napoleonic Wars were
come
just
to an end.
come to an end.
Things were starting to settle.
No, I came over sort of beginning of 80s, you know, it's around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so after that job at the BBC cutting film, you didn't go back to Boston.
No, I didn't go back to Boston, and I went back to playing music for a while and ended up in Irish bands in Kilburn. So I would and I remember looking through, I was working at, I think it was called the Black Lion. I think that's what it was called. We were playing in there, and I kept looking across the street at this theater called the Tricycle Theater. And I just thought, man, I'd like to really try that acting. Anyway, so I went to this adult education institute. I think it was in where was it? Maida Vale or someplace, I think. And I remember because I was living near London Bridge at the time, and I couldn't get on the train. I just sat on the platform and I kept watching trains going out of the station one after another. I was so scared.
Too nervous.
Too nervous. Yeah.
Huh.
I finally got there late, and they were doing animals into character or something.
Yeah.
When I played a turtle and hid under a table, yeah,
You were
that
like,
type of thing.
well done.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this.
He's a great turtle.
So did
Great turtle, yeah.
Were they kind of, is that kind of the starting point?
That was the starting thing. It was an adult education in place, and then I did that for about 6 months, and then I went to the City Lit, which is another adult education place. This is a place where Stephen Burkoff went and people like that. There's a nice sort of pedigree of actors that came out of there who were a little bit and I met Mehmet Ergin. We were in the same year together, so we set up a theater company, and so we were working before we ever finished. So we started working before we finished our second year. So yeah, we were in. And then we had the Southwark Playhouse Theater, so that was the original Southwark Playhouse Theater on Southwark Bridge Road. So we sort of started there and, set it up, made that place work. And then I started getting a lot of work. And then Mehmet went on to open the Arcola Theater, as we know in London now, which is a beautiful theater.
Yeah.
Really cool theater, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great theater. And then I'd still act with him, or I'd direct plays there, or direct plays at the Southern Playhouse. But after, we were at the Arcola. Yeah.
What kind of pieces were you putting on?
Well, he was quite political, so we were doing a lot of left-wing theater. So The Cradle Will Rock, Waiting for Lefty, stuff like that. Doing Odette's,
Right.
Well, more The Cradle Will Rock was a bit of a hit, so we did it a couple of times, that one. But I do Sam Shepard. I did a lot of Sam Shepard stuff. Big fan of Sam Shepard, as I know you are.
Yeah.
And so it's I was doing all the Yankee stuff basically.
Yeah.
North American theater.
A lot of David Mamet as well. We
Mamet.
kept doing David Mamet for some reason.
People love Mamet.
He was of the time. Everyone was doing Mamet.
I suppose they were, weren't they? You're right. Yeah.
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 Paint the picture for us of what London was like. Let's say, I guess this is probably now the 90s, the kind of the scene, theater, acting.
Well, we were paid better because we had probably better than now, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure. Actually,
the destruction of the unions, as we know, because we lost a closed shop. It was slightly before my time. When I first started here, I was still making reasonable dough. People were doing, but you could see they axed the residual thing, which really sucked it to us, didn't it? For any actor,
Yeah, if you don't have that.
Because if I'm a member of SAG as well in California, and you get residuals, you don't get residuals here at all, So that was kind of an uphill thing. It's a tough one. And you probably know now with video games and stuff like that, they've realized that they get us cheaper, so they are paying us cheaper and cheaper, So
no residuals. Yeah.
They're making a bunch of money.
But we get opportunities that we might not get otherwise. I don't know.
I agree with you. That's what I love about being here. Is the BBC. We switching from doing radio plays to doing theater to doing television to doing movies. It's great.
Right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, audiobooks. I know you do a ton of
audiobooks. A lot of that stuff. Yeah.
It's
very
What's
good.
your preference if you can work?
Well, for years and years, it was theater. I have to say, because I come from the theater.
Yeah.
But there's a feeling that you not so much now. That's I think it was after COVID. It suddenly really went quiet. I did do one play after COVID, but it's TV, radio, film now. So I think film and TV now, and I love doing radio plays. I love doing.
You get to do a bunch of those, don't you?
Yeah.
Jay, you just did one, didn't you?
I did actually.
Right.
With Big Finish, I literally just got an email that they're sending me the box set, which is so sweet. It was, radio plays is so fun because you're actually like talking with the people. A lot of
That's great.
voiceover jobs, you're alone, but in the
You're
radio,
alone, aren't you? Yeah,
you get to be with people, and it's really great. I
it
love it.
is, and you don't have to learn the lines.
No,
Right.
not at all. That's the best part,
Or wear a
actually.
costume or
I wear a costume. I listen. I dress up, okay, and I tell people. Have you guys never done that? You're like, I want to dress like the character today. Ooh, we're gonna be in the desert. I'm gonna dress like I'm in the desert. I don't know.
like an Arab sheik.
No, like I don't. It's like something that it's like, ooh, I'm gonna. Yeah, maybe I'll wear my like little scarf
Cowboy
from
hat.
Morocco that I got.
Okay, well, a
you
little
know.
something, yeah. To
What
put you
about
in
if
like
you're
a little-
playing a scuba diver or something?
Yeah, you come in.
Well, then maybe I would wear all thermals.
flop.
I would wear like
You'd
an
wear
all
thermals?
thermal.
Would you have a
underneath.
rubber mask on? I just I
No,
like
no.
snorkel.
No, the
No.
sound. No, you get the sound right. I don't know.
Maybe bring my own snorkel. That is hilarious. Bring and even like have the snorkel here so that like and you like
Yeah.
point it towards the mic
And
so
it's
that the
still-
sound
yeah,
comes out
so
of
That
it.
you
might
get
be
the
the
proper
last. That
sound.
would probably be the last drama gig you would get.
I don't know. I
I'd be
think if
done with
I
you.
did that, they would say no, but they would love it and they would laugh and they'd hire me again.
Probably.
Even though you've ruined their last project.
No,
Yeah.
for 5 seconds. It's 10 seconds and they would laugh and say no.
Okay.
But
Worth
yeah,
a try.
I do. I've done this sometimes. Have you not done stupid things? And they're like, I'm going to do a stupid thing. And you do it and they laugh and they say, no. And then you move on.
Sometimes they say yes.
It's a
Sometimes
question
they
for
say
Nathan.
yes. They do sometimes say yes.
Nathan, there's the old guard, and I kind of categorize you in that old guard of London
I'm slightly
actors.
after that, but I know what you mean, man. Yeah.
You're after, yeah. You're kind of the younger end of the spectrum of the old guard.
Yeah, of the old guard.
Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
In fact, you just went to a service yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, sadly, it was a funeral yesterday for the wonderful and great Bill Roberts. I give a shout out to him. You know, he's a wonderful American actor who was here a
was the
very,
old
very
guard.
long time.
Yeah.
He's really the old guard. There was a group of actors that were here like him and Ed Bishop and Bill Bailey and many of these wonderful actors that have been here for many, many, many years. You know, I mean, if you really want to go back, I mean, that was Sam Wanamaker as well, you know, who built the Globe Theater and everything. They all
Sam
came
Wanamaker
over here.
famous.
They all came over here. That really early lot came over here because of McCarthyism in America. So they had to go,
Right.
or because of their political beliefs, I guess, you know, and
Wow.
Ed Bishop, if you remember him, was in UFO and many British television shows and radio plays and films, and yeah, there was a whole group of them.
And Bill
one
Roberts.
Bill was one of those, Bill Roberts, and he sadly died, and he died very much at peace. He even wrote a little note that was quite beautiful, saying that he'd had a really good life and he'd had a wonderful career, and he was respected by his peers. So you can't ask for more than that.
Right. Was it a good service? A lot of people you
Yeah.
knew there? Yeah.
It's beautiful. Humanist service, full of Americans.
Right. American actors and others.
Yeah. Don't think there was any Republicans there. Don't think there was one.
That sounds like a good service.
Yeah,
Out of
it's
the-
good
out of the-
service.
Out of the bunch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Shout out to Bill Roberts. May he rest
Yeah,
in peace.
good man.
Yeah.
Bless him.
It's kind of because we have this kind of little niche group in this country, let's say, of Americanized or North American actors who live here and work here, almost exclusively as working as Americans, not doing British roles, things like that. There's, it's a small community.
It's very small. There's more Canadians than Americans here, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, they have more of an easier time getting here.
Oh, I'm sure that's the
and
case.
living
Yeah.
here. They can come with a visa and I think do a couple of years. But now it's changing. They're kind of letting in guys like Jay, and I guess I slipped through the cracks somehow too. I don't know.
Yeah, you got through.
I got through, and now I'm a citizen, so they can't get rid of me.
Oh, you got it. Well done, man.
Yeah.
You got a passport and everything. That's great.
Yeah, so I got my passport right here, actually. Yeah. I can
Next
leave.
to him.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case someone.
Always keep
How
it handy,
American of
just in
us.
case
That is
Passport
very
right
weird.
next to
You
us.
literally do have it next to you.
I have mine next to me too. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, it's right there.
Really?
Bug
You
out,
guys
man.
both leaving after this?
It's the American in us. We keep our papers on us. That we were
Excellent.
born to do this.
Yeah, us and like former communists. Do you identify more as
Former
American or British?
As a communist or a what?
Communist or socialist?
Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
Right. What do you
I
identify as?
Sorry, Todd.
What do you identify? More British or American?
It's
Tough.
a tricky one.
Tough call.
I think because I always get, if I'm cornered, American.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because even the pub you go to, your local
is
there,
called the Mayflower Pub.
the Mayflower Pub.
It's
They got the American flag hanging out
The American
there.
flag flies out the back of the pub.
Why is it called the
next to
Mayflower? Tell the
Union
kids.
Jack. Oh, it's
Tell the
because
kids.
the Mayflower was docked here. That's what,
Oh.
yeah. Well, along this stretch of the river, it was docked here anyway. I live on the river
Wasn't that
here in,
the final port of call before they set off for Plymouth?
No, I think they went off to Holland from here or something. Where did they go after this? Dutch, wasn't it? No.
They went and picked up some Dutch, and then they head out.
No, they went over there to hang out there for a little while, I think, didn't they?
Just to chill.
Yeah, just to chill out.
Just to chill. Let's take a boat to Holland. Why not?
Well, the Mayflower still sells American stamps.
Yeah, it's the only registered American post office in Britain.
Huh.
Right.
It still sells
a bit of history
American stamps.
No,
And I'm the
that's
sucker that brings them over from the States.
You're the guy that supplies
Or my
them
brother picks them up
with their
and sends them
stamps,
over to me. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Tell us about your brother. What role did he have, sort of, in when you growing up? Were you guys close, or?
Not particularly, no. I mean, we became close later in life because I'd left home so young.
Right.
So I didn't really sort of grow up with him that much, a little bit.
Half
He was
brother
terribly young.
or adopted?
Well,
brother,
he's a
so-
half brother. I'm the adopted one in the family.
Right. So he's like
Yeah, that's right.
the adopted brother, I guess you say, right? And he's a younger.
Yeah, but he's the one I grew up with him more than any other, so yeah.
Right. You have other siblings?
I got a sister
Oh, that's right.
in America. She's in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my adopted family, I've got kids. There's kids over here as well, apparently. Just brothers and sisters and stuff.
It's hard to keep
Yeah.
up with all the.
This guy can't keep track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. And you, so we also met sort of through the teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Not really met, but I started coming and to your classes after we met doing work together.
Oh, you teach.
Yeah, Nathan had a great class, and we've actually had quite a few of the people on from Nathan's class that I'd met through that class on the podcast. I think we had.
Patriarch is here then.
That's him. This is him. This is the man. Yeah. Who do we have on? Well, David Fellows was in the class. Amanda Kay was in the class.
Okay.
All those guys came down.
Yeah. Who we talked to? Nigel Barber.
Yeah, Nigel used to come down.
Was this the gym? The actor's gym? Is that
Kind of? Yeah, we call it. The
No,
gym,
I used to work for the Actors Center.
the workout. Well, we called it the
Okay.
gym. We
And I
referred
call
to
it, and the
sometimes.
class was called Working, and it was I was based on Studs Terkel's book. Do you know Studs Terkel's book, Working?
don't?
I do.
It's just interviews with people on the street, but I just love the idea of working, as an actor, it's about working. You don't want to sit around and it's being ready to work.
Yeah,
So
that's why he
the
called it the
class, you
gym.
had to be off book in an hour and 2 hours. So
Oh.
you would be off book in 2 hours, and you would perform it off book in a scene, just a scene, not the entire play. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I could do
But yeah, sure. But it got developed over a period of years, and what seemed to happen was people seemed to get sharper and sharper, and were nailing it and getting jobs. That's what it was about.
Huh.
It was an actor's workout.
It's an actor's workout. Yeah, you're right. That's better put. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he referred to it as the gym, because
you guys called it the
right.
workout.
calling it. the
Oh, I
workout.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
great. Yeah, I mean, it was a long time at the Actors Center, which sadly all fell apart in the
Yeah.
end, didn't it? You know?
Yeah.
That's a
Huh.
real
I
shame.
started doing picking up they call them tutors, but I was teaching in the Actors Center for a few years as well, and then just COVID. They were looking for an excuse to use that space for something else, and then COVID came along, and
It sort of fell apart, the whole thing.
they took it over. They moved it all to the Seven Dials.
Well, I moved it to seven just because that was just my class. I just
Right.
went to Seven Dials. I think the Actors Center now has a thing called what do they call it now? I forgot the name of it.
Their theater, it's called the Seven Dials Theater.
No, not the theater. The people that were still trying to keep the center
Oh,
going.
well, you were in touch with those people, yeah.
Yeah, and so I started working at Calder's Bookshop across the road from the Young Vic.
Right.
Calder's Bookshop was the original publisher of Samuel Beckett. So it's a famous bookshop there. He sadly is dead now. Although I did meet him before he died, which was lovely, and did some Beckett with him at the Cockpit Theater, which is wonderful.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great, man.
Yeah. You thinking about picking it up again?
Yeah, I started mentoring. I started working with individuals because I think it's so expensive for people to get into drama school now that I just started picking on people and saying, "Hey, I'm going to help you whether you like it or not."
Right.
And yeah, it's just so they can get in on a scholarship or just start working.
Yeah.
Train them up. Let's
Yeah.
go. Start working. Because it's insane. I don't know. As we know now, the rents in London are insane. So for an actor to,
Yeah, the opportunities. It's I don't know how things are shifting for young actors. It's really becoming.
Well, it's interesting. You were asking me what it was like in the day.
Yeah.
When I was training up to be an actor, you used to be able to sign on the dole, man.
Right.
And say, "I'm an actor. I'm training to be an actor."
Right.
And they would
I'm an
pay your
out-of-work
rent.
actor. Right.
And give you some money. It wasn't very much, but it was enough to sort of survive.
So you got to the next job.
Until you got a job because you're just training.
Right.
So it was a much healthier time for us.
Right.
To try and get work.
And there was also a lot of working class people.
Yeah, it was a lot more then. Now it's really tough, isn't it? I mean, I guess we're all seeing that now because certainly when I do films now or anything like that, I'm working a lot now with people that are from a different class.
Right.
Then it's not as mixed as it used to be. I'm not saying they're worse or better or anything like that, but it's just there was more of a balance, I think.
Well, I remember
and I do miss that.
Yeah, I know. I remember you bringing that sort of to my attention, having not grown up here or lived here at any length of time. I've been here, when I first came. You and I met about a year or two after I'd been here, and you were having these conversations and brought it to my attention. I didn't get it, but certainly I started to observe and recognize that, we lost. And I think I just recently mentioned this to someone, didn't I, about, we've lost the Michael Caine's and the...
Well, we're losing a lot of it. Michael Gambon, it goes on and on and on. I mean, John Thaw, it goes on and on and on. These were great British actors, truly great actors.
Yeah, even
Olivier
and all those,
we're not
class
Olivier was great at bringing people into the National Theater that were from that class.
Yeah.
He used to have open auditions, guys. It's
Right.
not like now. I mean, I worked at the National for quite a long time, and the people that I met there remembered those days. The open auditions, you go in, and if you had an equity card, you would be seen.
Right.
You had first come, first serve. If you didn't get there in time, you couldn't. They wouldn't make it. But
but you had the opportunity. Now it's all through the agent and who you know and how many Twitter followers you have or whatever. I guess I don't know.
It is very different. Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah. But, still it's great theater, and run by the great Rufus Norris, who I've been lucky enough to work with. He's a wonderful, wonderful director as well as a good artistic director. Yeah. There's a few good people out there. What about you guys? Who's your favorite?
Favorite what?
Who's your favorite what?
Director. Human being.
Favorite human being. I don't know. I don't do a lot of theater in this country. I never really have.
Fair enough.
It's never been open to me, despite having a bachelor's degree in theater arts and background in theater. I've gone up for a few shows, but I just found that it was all doors were really locked. I saw that it was sort of, if you hadn't gone to school with somebody or hadn't come up through their ranks, those doors were closed. And theater doesn't pay very well anyway, so I just skipped it. If I could do projects for no money, I would do that, on my own or with, in collaboration with people to put on a good show. I don't mind doing that. That's great. but to get into a professional, I remember you had done something Cool Hand Luke, and you sort of complained about.
No, but that was only because it just wasn't it didn't go very well.
Yeah, but it was all Brits playing Americans, right?
They weren't all. There were one or two Canadians there with me as well. Yeah,
right. Oh, there you go. But you broke in. You were in Prague. You went to the what'd you do? You did Mission Impossible, the first one.
Oh God, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was Hollywood stuff kind of coming here to be cast.
Oh yeah, there still is. I mean, I'm still doing Hollywood films.
In the early days, in the 90s. That film came out in 1990, right?
I think it was a bit. Was it later then? I don't know. I can't remember.
Maybe a little later. Yeah.
90 something. Anyway, who knows? In the past, man. Anyway, but yeah. No, what I loved about Prague, because you know Prague better than I do, man. Yeah. But what I loved about it was at that time, there was an Irish bar there, and it was St. Patrick's night. And when we were filming, and I went down there, and our per diems was such, you know.
Right.
And because I knew how much a pint of beer was, you know, which is a 10p or something. You know? Mm-hmm. It's the only time in my life which I shouted across the bar, the drinks are all on me.
Yeah.
A great feeling. Everyone should be able to do that once in their life.
Very cinematic.
A packed bar.
25, 50
and
beers.
I still didn't use up my per diems, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
That's a fun memory.
Yeah, Eastern Europe, man. Fabulous.
Cheap beer.
What's your fondness for Ireland?
I have Irish roots because of the adoption thing, you know, and so I just love Ireland. And I met an actor over here. We were in separate plays in the West End, and we met in a bar. It was called the Green Room Club, which is a great bar and for us lot. And they had a piano in there, so I was just playing piano in there one night, and he sidled up next to me, and we started talking and stuff. And he said, I'm in the show, and I'm Irish. And I said, if you ever come over to Dublin, come and see me. So I said, fuck it. And I went over to Dublin, contacted him. And so he took me to the pub at 11 o'clock in the morning. We got out at 11 o'clock at night, you know. So that was my introduction to it. I felt very at home there. So do you guys go to Ireland?
Guinness and good music.
The music was fabulous.
I haven't been to the Republic yet. I really want to go. I've only been to Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. The North is fabulous as well, man.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I did like a biking trip. I biked the Northern Antrim coast. It was very pretty. Very pretty.
Have you been to Belfast yet?
I went to Belfast for it was 2 or 3 days.
Great. Lovely.
Yeah. Well, I happened to go on the 12th of July, which I didn't realize was a thing.
Yes.
So I kind of didn't go at the what's the word? It wasn't a necessarily ideal time culturally, I would say. But you know what? I learned.
Yeah.
And Belfast. It was good to go actually, just to Belfast in general, to like see. And I did the Black Cab tour. You know, and I'd done a play a while ago that was set during the Troubles, so I was written in Belfast. Wonderful. So I was like, oh, I'm going to actually be there, and I'm going to go to the theater that originally put this play on. It was like they had redone The Three Sisters to be set in Belfast instead. So it was good to like see that, you know, the world isn't, there's interesting stories and that are good
great
to know.
Place.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous place. They got good theater there as well, and very good directors. Yep. That's very good. And also BBC Belfast there is really good for us. And especially if they're feeling kind, because they fly us there.
Oh.
Yes, from City Airport.
Shout out BBC Belfast.
BBC Belfast, man. Get in there, man. You got to big yourself up a wee bit. Yeah. But with the great Owen O'Callaghan, he was a wonderful director over there in BBC Belfast. He's in London usually now, most of the time. Wonderful BBC director. Yeah. Yeah, great scene.
Do you have a favorite place in Ireland?
Well, I go back to the same place, which is a small, well, it's not a small town. It's a town. It's not that small, but a place called Clonmel.
Okay.
Which is Tipperary, Waterford. You know, it's sort of divides the town slightly, I think. But yeah,
Where is it situated?
south of Dublin,
Okay.
just south,
Oh, it's
yeah,
beautiful down there.
yeah. It's very, very beautiful there, and yeah, I love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where would you settle?
Oh, here. I can't imagine anybody living. I'm sorry, anybody? I can't imagine not
Anybody
living in London.
living.
I love London, man. It's got everything. We've got everything here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a great city, It has absolutely everything.
Yeah, you're a Londoner.
Londoner, innit?
Proper.
Yeah,
Born
that's
in.
right.
You're born in London. You'll die in London.
Yeah.
Do you remember how old you were when you like knew that you were going to settle?
I think I was still toying around with the idea because it is awkward. Yeah, you sometimes feel like I would go to the States on a trip or something. I think, well, maybe no. Yeah. And then I get back here and then I feel no. I think probably pretty much the last 10 years I've been I know that I want to stay in London.
Oh wow, okay.
But what I do feel like I like being in America longer than the amount of time I go over. So I'd like to go over for a wee bit longer to America, especially where my father's from. I mean, I just did a 2,000-mile road trip over there. And yeah, that was fun.
New
Yeah,
England,
down
you went to
south,
Vermont,
and then I went
Did you
Pennsylvania,
read
New York,
66?
Tennessee. No, I didn't do Route 66. I have done that before, but no, there's not very much of that left, man. You have to keep leaving the road and
Really?
yeah, there's just bits of it. You jump on it for a little while, then you got to jump back on an interstate.
I see. Just like a highway, just like a freeway.
There's bits of it. You can do bits of Route 66. Yeah.
Huh.
I remember you saying something along the lines of the phrase that you sort of coined, and I still use a bit, is the American optimism. You like to go back and get your dose of.
Yes, that's what I used to do. Yeah, because there are times when you get a little bit beaten around the head. But it's an odd time in American history at the moment. So I don't know if it's necessarily a good place to go over for optimism at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know.
But usually the American psyche is a great thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I love American literature, American music, jazz, and everything. It's just, it's an amazing place. And of course, my father's from Vermont, and I'm very drawn to it.
Vermont is an amazing state.
Yeah. Have you been there as well, yo?
I have. I was in a summer theater company.
Oh, wonderful.
And we did it on amazing, the Green Mountain State. It was like a fairy tale.
It is a fairy
really
tale.
is.
You're right. I absolutely adore that place, man.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're making me want to go.
Yeah. You should.
I will. Not now. It's going to be frigid.
It might be a little chilly just now.
Yeah, just a little. Just a little chilly in the Northeast.
Just a wee bit. Yeah. So anyway, I used to do the ads for Coronation Street. No, sorry, I don't know why I said that.
Did you?
Did you?
Well, looks like Friday.
How many commercials and stuff have you done?
Not that many. More in America than here, I think.
Right.
And a few here. I did one here that won some award or something. Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It doesn't matter. It sounds a bit bollocks.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about, man. Your career. That's the whole point. Don't be.
Yeah, okay. No, I mean, I just want to talk about that.
Yeah, okay, meaning yes, talk about
it. Okay. It was Sony PlayStation or something. I won Best Actor award that year for it or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it a voiceover?
No, it was acting in front of the camera.
Oh.
No, it's whatever. Years ago. Years and years ago.
Yeah. No, I know you have quite a prolific career, and that's the whole point, to kind of delve into it. And
oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we should more.
Rather than having you be sort of humble. Save the humility when you're from.
But I should tie that up as well, to go back to. Remember I was telling you I was working with this Irish band and I was looking through at the Tricycle Theater. That was the Tricycle Theater was one that gave me my equity card because it was in those days you had to have an equity
Right.
card. And I was looking through and that was the first place that gave me my equity card. I got a job there doing a wonderful play with Carmen Monroe, who was a great black actress, British black actress. And I ended up with her agent as well. So I went because of that show and stayed with the agent for many years. And then, and because the guy that ran the place, Nick, I got to work with him many times afterwards. And he kept calling me back, so we got to do a whole seasons of like African American theater, which was lovely.
Amazing.
And we used to do verbatim theater. So it was a very political place again.
Verbatim.
So we would do like the verbatim is literally what they said. So it's like we did the Bosnian Serb crisis thing, the actual trials.
Right.
We did it exactly as it was said.
Exactly
as it was recorded
said,
in the court documents.
as it was recorded, and we as actors would then do it.
Yeah.
And we did it here in London, and then we took it over to Ireland, of all places, actually. So we went over to Ireland with it for a bit. And then we did, not that long ago, we did All the President's Men, again with Nick, who was running it in those days. And we did the whole, this was about Trump the first time around. And we all played all the characters and in the States, the Public Theater in New York. Yeah, so
Okay.
So it was great. We did it here in London. We did it in the West End with a British cast. And then I was lucky enough to be the only one that went over with, and then work with the American company over there.
Public theater is huge in New York City. Really big, really great.
Well, it's just great. Yeah, it was a nice experience. Well, you feel like you said, you've had a go at working in New York. Especially those of us that are always working in London.
Yeah.
So no, it's great. But again, very political. People were shouting at us from the audience, because this was Trump's gang from the first time around, and they weren't much liked by New Yorkers, So they were shouting. We're actors already. Yeah.
Oh man, when was this?
Huh?
When was this? This is before COVID.
It's just before
Just
COVID.
before, it must have been.
Just before COVID.
Trump was president under COVID, so.
Yeah, that's right. So, Trump was president when we did it.
I know he was president, but he was president for most of COVID, so you couldn't have done theater then, right?
That is very true, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just did that, yeah. And so, again, it was just verbatim theater. It's stuff that they had already said, so it wasn't,
Right. Yeah, you're just repeating. It's funny.
You're
People
repeating
getting
what they
angry
said.
about it.
Yeah, well, nobody wrote this. They just said it, so it's fine. And also, there was no slight on it. Nobody, there's no comment on it. It's just literally what they said.
Right.
No one to blame or like hate.
No,
It's literally-
no, sure. It's just
Like
what they said. I mean, you could do the same thing again now. It wouldn't make any difference through history.
Is that pretty popular, kind of done that way?
Well, I think it was
Verbatim.
I think we've stopped doing it. It seemed to be a big thing here in London, but we've stopped doing it now. I don't know why. Maybe it'll come back. I have no idea.
Good.
It's very easy, easier to do in the sense of usually you just read it. Sometimes we would learn it depending on how long you're going to run with the play.
Right.
Oh, so you don't even put it on. You all have like the pages in front of you, and you're just
You
reading
have
it?
the pages in front of you if you're doing a short run, but if you're doing a long run, you learn it.
You'd learn it.
If it's a run, but if it's just like one-off days, like the one in New York and the one in London, we did one day in London, and then we went over to New York and did it one day in New York. But they're events then,
Yeah.
Sure.
There's something trustworthy though about you reading it, and it's verbatim theater. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if you guys agree. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because then you can tell in the
an audience
proof
member
that
knows.
nobody's fiddled with it.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Exactly.
Where do you see good theater happening now in London?
Still at the Arcola. I think the Arcola is a great purveyor of very good theater. I'm not seeing it in the West End so much at the moment. Of course, there are moments when that's bullshit, and there are really great things on in the West End, of course, as we know. I stood the National, of course, Young Vic, I really like the Park Theater as well in Finsbury Park.
Oh, yeah.
They're churning out some really good stuff at the moment as well. It's just, they I think there was such people were so scared after COVID, weren't they? That they just went for the easiest thing to get people bums on seats. So they were just repeating stuff from years ago.
Interesting.
Stuff that
Makes
worked
sense.
before.
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
they
It's just
knew
getting
that-
people into the theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
To watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I think, well, I mean,
Recuperate.
it's starting to already get more better. It's getting a little bit more risky now and stuff, isn't it? So it'll get a bit better, I hope.
I went to the Soho Theater for the first time. You know Soho
Yeah,
Theater?
it's a great theater. Yeah.
It was I mean, it was kind of not revolutionary for me, but like I couldn't believe how like much of a theater scene, right? Like I went there and it was such a great time. There's 3 theaters, so many
There is
people,
3, yeah.
and it's a lot of younger people. And I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't around in the States, right? Like I really felt like it was a theater culture where people were going out
Yes.
and really wanted to see plays and
Yeah.
go out. And it was really cool because I feel like in the States, going to the theater tends to be very like, ooh, we're gonna dress up. It's only for posh people. But Soho Theater was like, nah, we're going out. We're having a good time. And I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was cool.
And we need, and there should be an constant attempt for that. I remember years ago we were doing Waiting for Lefty at the Old Red Line, in fact. And rather than Yarcola, so I got that wrong because you get mixed up with the plays over the years. But that was called Red Room Theater Company. And what was wonderful about them is, well, if you were a cab driver, it was free, stuff like
Right.
the idea, because it was about a cab strike in New York and everything. And but it was the whole idea is was to get people in the theater that wouldn't normally go to the theater. So if you'd say it's cheap or it's free, or even further back, my next door neighbor when I was living in LA, a playwright called Robert Patrick, who wrote Kennedy's Children and things like that, was a very famous and first out gay playwright in America. He came to London, where he had more success, weirdly, than in New York, although he was part of that gang, like Sam Shepard and everybody else at that particular time in New York, where they were creating great plays, great art. And he was the first one, and wonderful stories of like, Tennessee Williams going to see his plays, where Tennessee Williams could never really write a play with an out character. Although I've just said that, and I actually played the character in a Tennessee Williams play where I was playing his first out character. Jeez, I just remember that.
Which play was that?
Yeah, now I'm trying to remember the name of it because you do too many plays and you forget.
Where Sun Also Rises.
No, that's Hemingway. But
That's
it's close. It's close enough. American guy.
American South.
No,
American South. It's close. Yeah. It has gone out of my head. The name
Raisin
of
in
the
the Sun.
actual.
No,
Raisin in the
Yeah.
Something with the sun. There was the sun in there. I'm sure. It was.
Yeah. Ben Hur. No, yeah, it's
The son of
Wait, I'm trying to.
Anyway, in Praise of Love is Terrence Rattigan. I did that one, so we got. God's gone out of my head. Anyway,
to your point, Tennessee Williams didn't
it'll
really.
come back anyway. So yes,
His characters weren't really
Tennessee
out.
Williams would go see Robert Patrick, but I mean, these were the adventurous people in New York that were taking these big risks in the theater. And Robert Patrick came to London, and to get back to getting people in the theater, like you were saying, and you felt like people were going to the theater that were from all different backgrounds, which is great. Robert Patrick got involved in a thing here called the Almost Free Theater, which apparently was just off Oxford Street. And if you just showed up, and whatever you could pay, you paid. Every single show. That was it. Wow. There was no flat feed. And this got introduced every once in a while. It would be pay what you can. Occasionally, they would try it at different theaters. We talked about it earlier on when I was with Mehmet, stuff like that, Mehmet Ergin. I'd love to see that back again.
Confessional.
What? Is that the name of the play?
Is that the name of the play?
No, man.
Small Craft Warnings.
Small Craft Warnings.
Thank you.
That's it. Well done. Oh, you looked it up. Yeah.
No. I went to my library of knowledge that I lock up
That
here
I keep on your computer.
in my brain ball.
Southern writer's brain side.
It just took me a while to collect. Yeah, I looked it up.
That's quite a play to do, that play, because you got the wonderful thing of, and you're the only, this particular character I was playing is the only character that looks at the audience. Great. So everyone else is talking to each other. And suddenly you break the fourth wall and talk directly to the audience and do long monologues about what it is to be a homosexual. And it's depressing. I mean, the way he's written it,
right?
It's sad and heartbreaking, and I feel I really don't want to say this. These people are listening to this here. I know, yeah. I don't mind doing it, we're doing it in character. We're on stage and we're talking to each other. But yet, when you have to take the wall down, it's very odd.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to do that?
Take the wall down? I don't think so.
Not for anything serious. When I break the wall, I've always done it usually for comedic.
Comedic,
it's very fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it, actually.
That's right. Yeah, it's great fun. Well, it's Groucho Marx, then, isn't it? It's just straight out. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have people to talk to. They're all listening. They're like,
That's
"Hi, everyone.
right, yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
I see you. I see
Yes.
you. Hi." Yeah, it's great.
I remember once we did God and Death. Woody Allen plays, and I was playing the Woody Allen character, and the guy had decided to cast a lot of stand-up comedians in it with actors. To be fair, but there were a few actual stand-up comedians, and they kept looking at the audience. They would just turn on their gag, which is just the line in the play. When they turn,
you get to wait for the laugh, and then
That's actually hilarious. And the audience members would be like, "Excuse?
What is he doing?
Yeah.
It's awkward. It's like having a actor play a stand-up comedian. It also ends up like a bit of a train wreck sometimes.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Check this out. Let's see.
Oh God, yeah. That's out the back of our pub.
There's a little taste for you. Little Django style, Gypsy Jazz, with harp. Is that the Mayflower?
Yeah,
the water lapping at your feet. Great. You still playing with Joff, huh?
Yeah, man.
I gave him a harmonica once.
Wow.
Is he using it? Here's another one.
Don't cheat my baby. Oh yeah, she don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh yeah, she don't stand no cheating. Don't stand none of that midnight creeping. True little baby, my baby. My baby, I know she loves me, my baby. Oh yeah, I know she loves me, my baby. Oh yeah.
Whoops.
She wants to kiss and hug me, my baby.
There you go.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, a bit of everything. Yeah.
That's good.
Great.
That's cool. Nathan's the kind of guy that I have a guitar at the house and he'll come by, which I can't play and never play,
and then he comes along
and then he comes along and goes, "Oh hey," and he picks up my guitar and he starts like
just nothing more irritating than that, is
there? Just looking at it and I go, yeah, what? That's so I know that the guitar works and that it could sound great.
Yeah.
In the right hands.
To play it.
But I'll never make it sound like that.
I want to get a keyboard. I've been wanting to get it for a while. I miss my old keyboard.
I'll get a Yamaha.
Yeah. QWERTY.
Yeah, very clever, Todd.
I got all the letters.
Get a Yamaha touch sense. Make sure it's a weighted keyboard, man. Don't just buy a
regular.
You're talking about
ASS keyboard. Yeah.
You want something. Well, you know how to play, so you know.
Weighted keys.
Yeah.
I tried to learn piano one time too. You play piano as well, Nathan?
Yeah, have a go at it. I started on piano.
You
My mother was a
self-taught?
piano player.
Ah, are you self-taught guitar player?
Yeah, pretty much. Just buddies,
Mm-hmm.
Learn from them. Yeah. But my mom was a piano player in pubs in the East End and stuff when she
Wow.
was growing up there.
What did your mother do beyond that? Was that her job?
She worked for different companies around London, the East End and around Borough High Street as well, this south side of the river in London. Yeah.
Doing what?
I think probably secretarial
Secretarial type
mostly,
stuff,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she married a Yank, that's it.
An army Indian.
Air Force.
Air Force
Indian guy.
Air Force Indian Cherokee. Yeah.
Indigenous.
Mohawk,
right. Yeah. What was that like?
What do you mean? I don't. Yeah.
I mean, it's for a father. Was he a good dad?
Interesting.
Yeah. Any connection to the tribe? Did you ever?
No, nothing at all. Not even remotely.
They didn't invite you into the circle and go, yeah.
No,
we can see it.
he wasn't either. I think that generation of people, they weren't part of it.
Yeah.
It was sort of a later generation where people re-embraced. I would imagine their Native American Indian.
That's what I tell people. I've got some native blood as well, and people say, "Oh, wow," and they kind of give you that look, like, "Wow." And I go,
"Yeah,
that's not a source of family pride."
Yeah,
like, we didn't. My grandfather denied until he.
It's very true. It's that generation. They were in complete denial of it. They didn't want.
Yeah, they didn't tell people.
They didn't want to know about
native
anything like that.
family members in their background and things like that. No, my grandfather was half, and at some point they asked him finally on his deathbed, was your mother native? And he said, yeah, he admitted it.
Yeah.
But up until that point, it was like the shame.
I find it interesting how much older my father was when he finally did embrace it, though. And then he really embraced it, subscribing to the magazines. Everything's Native American Indian,
Right.
I don't know why I'm talking like this, but yes, I mean,
Great.
It's Bernie. Bernie
talking
love
about
Bernie.
The natives. So he got all the memorabilia, all the regalia. I don't know what you call it.
No, he didn't really. No, he didn't start wearing a
headband.
A headband and feathers and stuff, Yeah.
Oh, my father had a ton of that stuff in the house.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My father wouldn't quite go that far, but although my father was bald, he grew out what was left of his hair down.
The patch.
The patch, the ponytail.
The long ponytail.
I see it right now, like bald here, but like ponytail in the back.
Ponytail in the back.
I know exactly who.
But it didn't last very long either. That didn't. I mean, he sort of embraced it for a while, and then he just gave it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a whole thing. But I know you have that sort of unique little addition to upon.
Well, you do as well, by the sounds of it. You got the native thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't like directly.
Yeah.
I've heard it's very common for a lot of Americans. I have indigenous blood in me as well, but I think a lot of Americans do.
Sure.
I think it's very common. I heard it from someone. I don't know how accurate it is, but
I think it is very accurate. A lot of the sort of, I mean, you can point to known people, celebrities, and things like that have it, and you can kind of see it in people. You go, yeah, I can see. Because it was common back in those days, let's say in the early pioneer days or whatever.
Yeah.
To hook up with Hispanic, Mexicans from across the border, slaves, black slaves, Native American peoples, all running around.
Of course. I mean, have you guys done your DNA thingy? No.
I have. Well, my father did his.
Okay.
And I have that.
Anything good?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. There was a Scottish great grandmother in there, and Prussian, and then I'm quarter. Well, my father was half Polish, for example, and the rest in the native and German and all this stuff.
Nice, yeah.
Mixed bag. And then I'm English on the other side. It's all English.
I got English as well, yeah. And have you checked yours as well? No, you haven't. No.
Jay, well, we figured out that he's not Norwegian.
Yeah, he thinks I'm German. I've asked my grandparents, all of my 4 grandparents, where they're from, and they all say, we're just from," and they're all divorced, by the way. They all and they all go, "We're just from, I don't know where I'm from. Who cares?" And so after asking all 4 of them, and all 4 of them say that, I'm like, great. I'm not going to give a I don't care either. They're all from different places, and none of them are. They're just like, whatever, man.
So you didn't do your DNA test?
No, I haven't. My sister, no, because like, what does it really matter? I mean, maybe.
Well, I guess because I left it so long, and especially when you're adopted, I suppose. Maybe I should say that. But I was kind of interested, and also I really, really was hoping I was Jewish. You know, I just wanted because I love Jewish culture. I just really like the humor,
So specific.
the writing. So specific. You see, and then I you know what came back?
What?
Irish.
Yeah.
Scottish.
But you can like
and
culture.
Norwegian.
Like culture by not having blood relation.
I'm joking. I'm kind of joking about the whole thing. Sorry, but
Oh, you don't. So you don't know. You didn't.
I don't really care. I don't really give a shit.
You haven't done it.
Like you, I don't really. I have done it, but I didn't really care that much.
Well, it's fine.
I thought it would be just completely Irish anyway. So
there was a period in pre-internet in my parents' generation, the boomer generation, let's say, when there was a thing that would be done, which would be a cousin, usually some sort of distant cousin. You would receive some packet in the mail of a hand-typed, 15, 20, 30-page dossier of a family tree that some kind of, archival cousin who was interested in genealogy would have done the family tree and would have discovered that you are a nephew or a niece or a cousin or some kind of distant relative, first, second, third. And then they would kind of locate you through the phone book and other kinds of means like this, and then send you these packets, and you would see, oh, this is your family tree, and here I am, I'm your second cousin. And so that was kind of a common thing. My mother has one of those, which I have right here, and my father got one from other kind of distant relative, which I also have. Yeah. So that was before Ancestry.com, which is the Mormons.
Yes, that's the one now.
The Mormons are very meticulous about keeping track of genealogy, especially in America, especially their own, but they have everyone's.
Yeah.
And so they created Ancestry.com and these others, I don't know who owns them, but the Ancestry, that's the Mormons. And so then you can go on there, and I started going in there at some point years ago and tacking in all my information that I had on hand here, and then that starts to open up all kinds of branches on the tree.
Of course it does. Yeah.
But things also get kind of weird because the census used to come to the house. Every 4 years, a man would come to the door from the Census Bureau, knock on your door, and ask you to tell him who lives in the house. And you would write down everything that was sold just on the doorstep. And you'd get as much information out of them as you could just so you could take a nationwide census. But of course, if somebody wasn't home or they didn't give you the right information or they told you to come back or whatever, you would miss pieces of census. But that stuff all went into the public record. So that's the kind of thing that's on Ancestry. You can go back and look at the census records. But then you find misspellings of names because, I'm Agnes Wojciechowski. And the guy goes, and sometimes he spells it with a V and other times he spells it with an X. And you never get those names quite accurate. So then you go into the database and you're like, let me see it. Maybe that's the one. Ignis Vorchevsky might be the same woman somehow, So that's kind of how all that worked back in the day. So if you are curious.
My did that as well. She did genealogy for years and years.
Yeah, it was like a hobby.
The weird thing is you're not because you're adopted. You're not. I mean, it's,
you're not part of the. I'm not part of that, I guess.
Now, gentlemen, I got a band rehearsal in 10 minutes.
Of course you do.
They're coming here, fortunately. So
I see.
Them to come here. So.
Oh, so you guys are going to play a show for us?
That'd be great. We'd love to hear a little live music.
That would be nice, actually.
I was regretting that I didn't have you bring your guitar into that little booth.
Well, I could do something with Joff, but I can't get. I can't.
No, it's all right. We'll let you go anyway. I mean,
yeah,
it's been great. There was a couple other questions I guess I was going to ask at some point.
Yeah, you can real quick. I mean, they're going to be here at 5, so that's what I'm telling you. But.
Yeah. All right. Any questions, Jay?
I feel blessed. I feel like you've given me the space to ask a bunch of questions today, so I've been asking away. My last question is, what's your favorite Shakespeare play? Because I heard you quote Shakespeare earlier, and I want to know your favorite.
Oh, yeah. Okay. King Lear.
Good
Definitely. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Have
you ever seen Lear's Daughters? That was good. A modern play. Well, modern.
No.
Probably written in the
No, but I've
80s,
leered at some
early
daughters
80s.
before. But that's when I was a younger man. What?
Yes.
It's a terrible way to end it. Tell me quickly about, can we talk? I want to dish a little dirt just because, I don't know. I want to get it down on record a little bit. You went to LA.
Yeah.
And you were dating.
No, you can't do that, man.
Can't do that?
No.
You want to talk briefly about?
No.
Come on, man. Dish a little dirt.
Get out
Just
of
quickly.
here. I'm not doing that.
Just quickly.
Go away. Go away. Go away. No, it's not cool, man.
All right.
I can't do that. You know I can't do that.
No, not a ton. Just like, but why did you go to LA? Okay, let's do it this way. You went to LA. You were trying to make something happen there. I also at some point.
Well, I mean, you're right. Insofar as I never wanted to go to LA.
Right.
But Woody Allen about LA in the first place. But so I never really wanted to go there, except maybe a holiday, which I was invited on a holiday, and then I met somebody there, and they said, "Why don't you come over and I'll help your." What would you guys do? They were
help
in a
you with your
position
career
to really
and-
help you.
yeah.
To really help you.
This was a known celebrity that
He's a
could
very
have helped.
famous celebrity, and so he said, "I'll come on over. I'll help you." And
You were dating his daughter. We can say that.
God, look at this.
That's all. That's all I'm going to say. You were dating his daughter, and he sort of promised to help.
Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I mean, it was a great experience to be in LA.
Did you get
I have
work
to
in
say
LA?
that. Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, doing
Okay.
British.
That was when you were playing
parts.
British. How many years were you there?
Commercials. About 3 years, 4 years. I
Yeah,
wasn't there that long. 3 years maybe. And I was directing, the teaching. I was doing Stella Adler. I was working at Stella Adler there.
Oh.
Right.
All that stuff.
Yeah, that's
you know?
good. Where did
And
you
it was
live?
fine.
In LA.
I loved it. I loved where I lived, which is a place called Los Feliz in LA. It's a very beautiful sort of late 20s.
Yeah, it's very
very
old.
New York looking.
Very old LA.
And my window overlooked Griffith Park, and the observatory. So there was a lot of really nice things. And then I met somebody while I was out there and moved to Santa Monica.
Oh.
But you can work there. It's not like you can get work. But it's so little compared to how much we work in Britain because we're so lucky here.
Yeah.
We have, like we said earlier on, the radio, the television, the voiceovers, movies. It's great.
Yeah,
we
we
have
get
a
Hollywood
bit of
stuff.
everything.
You
We
get
get a lot of
European
good stuff.
British
Yeah.
stuff, and
It's wonderful. I mean, yeah. And there's lots more stuff being done here now. So get out there
motion
and
capture. There's
motion capture.
audiobooks have sort of really picked
Get out
up.
there and do stuff. Yeah.
What audiobook
And,
are you working on now? You said you're doing some.
I'm about to start a new one, but I've been doing almost exclusively. Well, I did rather a lot of Mark Twain. You did a bit of Mark Twain as well.
I wanted you to mention this. I wanted to just
You had
briefly
a lot of Mark Twain.
for
man.
Jay,
It's,
because Jay got to listen to me whinge about Mark Twain.
Yeah, I did a lot of Mark Twain.
Now tell him how difficult it was, so he knows that I wasn't.
Yeah, well, you end up in physiotherapy, man, because you know what it's like when you're just sitting there for. I did the collected short stories, which went on and on and on and on and on. I mean, really unbelievable. Good God.
Yeah.
And then
we both did that one. That's the one. Yeah.
That's right. We both worked on that one. But again, I mean, these days I'm doing mostly. These days I am mostly doing Hemingway. Yeah. So.
Are you
with that accent?
Yes, with this accent. No, it's all as Bernie Sanders. Yeah. I'm doing
Hemingway,
the old
really?
man
Like the Glass
and the
Menagerie?
sea. No,
what?
I said the old man and the sea.
We go to break up the ocean banks.
Yes. Exactly.
Was that your? That's good.
Mostly
Anyway.
with the pun.
So you're
I'm
doing
gonna have to
you're
go,
still working
guys.
on the
I don't mean to be
classics,
horrible, but I've got to get it.
but they're killing you. They're killing you. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a lot of classic. It's all classic American literature. That's all you seem to get is American classics, which is wonderful.
Well, you got the voice for
You
it.
feel really privileged to be asked to do them, don't you? You know, anybody would. You did, right?
Yeah, I was kind of stoked. I tried to put my heart and soul into
It's a lovely
the Twain
feeling,
stuff, even though it
and you
almost
want to
killed
try
me.
and do the best you can.
Yeah, you want new
Yeah.
judges to do it because you
Yeah.
kind of get the idea that there'll be a lot of school kids and younger people that'll be listening to that for the first time, and you don't want to.
Yeah, and you want to get it right.
Yeah, you
know?
want to get it right. You want to.
Absolutely.
You're kind of linked to those characters, but you're doing Jack London, you're doing Hemingway.
I'm doing Jack London soon as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all those.
Yeah, good stuff.
Brilliant, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much for
We
coming
appreciate
on.
that you
Oh, no,
came
thanks, guys.
and got a chance to connect and talk to Jay. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I had a great time, really.
Jay, you
I
did
think
Oh,
you're
bless you. Thanks, Jack.
You did
wonderful
a great
guy.
job interviewing him.
And thanks, Todd.
Oh.
And I hope it was all right. It sounds a little bit, I don't know.
It was great,
Okay,
man.
guys.
I think we got
All right.
there was a lot of detail and nuance there from your career.
Yes,
And we
probably
dug into as much as we could, but I know you're kind of a humble guy, and I appreciate that in life, but I don't appreciate it on my podcast. It really stinks up the thing.
Okay. Stop being humble. Yeah. Okay.
It took us an hour to get you to the point
Yeah,
where you
sorry.
were
It's
ready to
yeah.
talk about.
Sorry.
I don't know if you understood what this podcast was about.
I got it completely wrong, didn't I? Do you want to take two?
It's not
and
where
just
you
do the
ask
whole
us
thing again?
questions and
Yeah.
find out
Do the whole
about
thing
us.
again.
We'll just
It's
record
fine.
it.
We'll fix in post.
We'll have you back.
Okay.
We'll have you back.
Just I'll come with a guitar next time. And
Come with a guitar.
bring Joff on harmonica.
We'll get a
Do
pint of
some
Guinness.
Cool
and
music for you.
There you go.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Nathan
Thanks,
Osgood.
guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye, guys.
There he goes. See ya. Oh, well, Jay,
Oh, Toddy.
what'd you think of the great Nathan?
I really loved him, actually, from the very beginning. And he started talking about his story, like hitchhiking.
Yeah.
I just felt I felt really connected to him. I thought he had a really great story. So yeah, thanks for bringing him on.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he finally kind of connected with us on that and stuff. You had only met him briefly at the party, right?
Yeah, met him briefly at the fated party that our listeners keep hearing about.
This
This
great
was
party.
the party.
We picked
you
up
guys.
more podcast guests at this party. It's just funny how
I had met him there. I think I'm almost guaranteed I've met him on another job, actually. Like, he's pretty recognizable.
I think,
And
I think
I'm
an ADR
quite
session where
worked
he
with
was
him
there
before.
and you were there and I was there. And
Quite certain,
Possible.
but yeah. So it was cool to hear his story. I did wish he would have bragged more. I did want to hear about his like award and like the stuff he'd worked on.
oh, he's gotten all kinds, yeah. And he's worked with some
But-
tremendous people, but
He has, even in his show reel, and I bet he's worked with others.
yeah, there's stories in there. But and then I'll tell you off air who the famous individual
Oh
is.
yeah, the dirt.
They didn't
But
wanna-
that's good. I like his.
I knew
you
he
know,
wouldn't dish that dirt. I knew
It's
he wouldn't.
good. Hey, it's good to be respectful. You got to follow your own heart. So good for him.
It's good for the show.
It's good for the show.
You know what I mean? It's just juicy, not those juicy bits. People listen. That's what the audiences want. It's not me. I already know. The audience is
Offstage acting, offstage tea. Yeah.
offstage dishing gossip.
Offstage dishing. Dishing off stage.
There it is. Dishing off stage. Well, we want to thank all of you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you to our special guest, Nathan Osgood. The great Nathan, actor, jazz musician, theater director and teacher, and more. Thank you, Jay, for joining us. Thanks to Andy for helping. And we'll see you next time. The Offstage
On the
Acting
Offstage
Podcast.
Acting Podcast.
There, you got it. You did it. Ooh.
Sorry, I was just still laughing.
What are you laughing at?
You. I don't know, something, whatever. I don't even remember what you said.
Something funny.
Something funny. Said something funny.
That's what I do.